Global Spy is here today with one of India's most cherished beauty influencers, Debasree Banerjee. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
She's a creative powerhouse of all things beauty, makeup, and lifestyle, and has built a beautiful family of 305K Instagram followers and 265K YouTube subscribers. She's amazing. We're here for the first time talking. So, first of all, I would like to ask, how did your journey towards beauty begin in the first place?
I think for me, it began when I was back in college. I used to watch a lot of content on YouTube. I think because budget was so tight, I would not really like go out after I pay my rent. So it was just me and my laptop watching a lot of series, and then like which led to YouTube, which led to bloggers at that time, and content creators, and also reading their website. And there were like lots of content, but out of all of them, I think beauty was the one that really caught my attention. I think my mom has always been also an inspiration to that. She always loved the idea of getting ready and everything. And when I got to know the entire world of like, professional makeup and everything, I really wanted to try it myself. I was getting influenced. So once I was done with my college, I did my post graduation. I started my own blog, and I was also buying a lot of stuff that I was very excited to talk about, but none of my friends really understood what the obsession was. So I think that's where I started this corner of internet where I had my kind of people who I could have my kind of beauty conversation with. And I think that's where once I started getting positive feedback, also I think my love for beauty also grew along with the people who were watching.
And what would be your definition of beauty? Like, how would you define the word for yourself?
I think it would be to be absolutely comfortable with who you are, no matter how you look, to be really present at the moment, and to accept yourself no matter what.
Mhm. And is fitness just as important a part of your routine, just as beauty is?
Absolutely. I think ever since the pandemic, it's become a much bigger part of me. And I think during the pandemic, when everything shut down, I think we all kind of dug deep and started looking inwards more than outwards. And the busy life like kind of came to a standstill. Of course, it was a very difficult time for a lot of us. And I know personally also we've had lots of losses, and but it also the brighter side to that was also getting to spend a lot of time with ourselves. And that's where my approach towards my lifestyle kind of changed. I started incorporating better food, and then the entire fitness aspect also kind of got into it. And now it's become a big part. And I feel like beauty is what you are from within, and it's a whole holistic approach. So not only does it include your skincare, but also what you eat and how much and what you work out. So it's a huge part, yeah.
Right. So, what would be your wellness philosophy?
Um, I think for me, I really wish I knew all of this that I'm speaking at ease right now when I was younger. I mean, it's so easy for me to say all of this. But for me, I think wellness is something that comes from within. It's something that when you start to respect yourself, when you start to understand why it's so important to take care of yourself first, and then you make time and you discipline yourself to practice no matter what it is and whatever gives you joy. And you build a little bit of strength along the way, maybe lose some weight, gain some muscle, and it doesn't matter what it is, but whatever makes you happy and whatever comes from within you is and whatever keeps you healthy is a wellness for you. It's not like a one size fit all.
Right.
So it's something whatever works for you.
Nice. So, what does a fitness regime look like? Like, how do you prefer to, stay fit, work out?
So for me, I'm telling you, I have tried everything, and I've been one of those kids who again would try everything. I grew up in a Bengali household, which means that I was put into Bharatanatyam, Kathak, harmonium, tabla, you name it all. Everything's been tried on me. Singing classes, nothing really stuck by. Like, I never really found the passion to kind of go back to things. But I mean, again, during the pandemic, I started working out a lot with my trainer, because the gyms and everything had shut down, and we used to work out at the park. And then I think when I started working out with like a nice functional training, so that really kept me going. So I still do it. 2 years later, I do functional training 3 days a week. And during the pandemic, I also found yoga, which I absolutely fell in love with. And then I got myself a teacher a year ago, so I do that 3 times a week. So it's 3 days of functional training, 3 days of yoga. On Saturdays, sometimes I like to switch it up. I used to do a lot of pole dancing and aerial, because it's like strength but with like a lot of grace. Sometimes I switch it up with Pilates. So yeah, that's what my exercise routine looks like now.
Awesome. So you mentioned yoga, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is it about yoga that sticks by with you?
I think I wish there was like a one-liner answer to that. I feel like I could go on and on. So I'm really going to try my best to make it precise. Um, I think with yoga, it's an endless pursuit. Um, and I love that. I love that, the moment you reach a place, you realize there's so much more to go. And I feel it's kind of like a cliffhanger that makes you keep coming back for more and more. And that's obviously a part of the practice. But more than that, the practice in itself, I love how calming and grounding it is. I think it has helped a lot with my mental issues, with my physical ailments. It's also helped me a lot with flexibility and my breath work. And when I learned how to properly breathe, which is such a funny thing to say, we all grow up breathing, but once you do yoga, you realize that how tremendous role breathing pays to your practice, to my other workouts like in the gym, and also to how I am feeling. If I'm anxious, my breath changes everything. If I'm like angry, my breath is different. So I've learned how to control that and kind of really be calm and zen. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned from yoga, and that's what I think I love about it.
Great. So do you have any diet secrets you like to spill?
Oh my God, the only diet secret I have is that eat whatever you like. I mean, the moment it gets restrictive, if I tell you not to think about an elephant right now, that's all you're going to think about right now. So if I tell you don't eat pizza, that's all you're going to feel like eating. So I
True.
think, when you add stress to a food, and when you're eating something and you're stressing about it, that really adds up. So I think you should just enjoy everything in a limited proportion, and understand what your dietary needs are, what your goals are, and kind of because food is everything. Like, you can work out as much as you want, you can do whatever you need, but if you don't eat right, nothing's going to show up. So prioritize what you would like, enjoy yourself. And I've never really restricted myself. I think the only saving grace I have is that I never grew up with a sweet tooth, and maybe just cutting down sugar really helped. So I think maybe I would call that a secret, but I know it's very difficult. But I think it's just find ways to replace processed sugar and food with, like, say a fruit or something that does not have like a refined sugar in it. That is the only secret I could tell you. Otherwise, I eat you'll catch me eating fries every day.
Nice. So my last question for you: how do you take care of your mental health?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think there are a lot of different aspects of how I take care of it. One is when I don't have a routine, when I don't have a set discipline, it feels like I'm losing control, and that's when the anxiety kind of kicks in. So I because anxiety is just you not being able to control the future, or I'm not being very fearful of what's coming and what's happening. So having a set goal, having a set things to do, and making sure that I know ahead of time what I'm going into, really helped with curbing down my anxiety, and also penning down my thoughts into, say, in any form of journaling. It really detaches myself from that moment of how I'm feeling, and like just pouring everything down. And if I want, I can just tear that paper up and throw it into the dustbin, and it physically latches off of me. And thirdly, breath work. I think that really, really has helped with my um, mental health. And like I said, when you're angry, you can tell that you're not breathing enough, and when you just calm your breath down, it kind of like calms everything down, and you surrender yourself and you meditate. It really helps. Other than that, I feel like exercising regularly really releases a lot of endorphins. It takes away the stress from not only my work but also the mental, if I'm feeling anxious or anything. And yeah, and eating well and sleeping. I think sleeping plays a major, major role in anyone's mood. You will notice that and I can see the difference in my work, in my workout as well, when I don't sleep well, and in my moods. And I think whatever the hormones are to control your moods, it really depends on how you sleep. So I make sure that I get adequate rest and I wake up happy and everything. And I think if not anything, then just coffee, I guess. That's the only thing that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, great. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
It
you. I
was
hope I
lovely talking
didn't
to
eat
you.
too much. No, it was lovely.
No,
I mean,
no.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for the questions.
No, no. Thank you so much for your time. It was great talking to you.
Likewise.